the advertising business on cell phones is over $15 billion a year.
Wow.
And was simply early and failed to recognize it because I had not done my market research.
Wow, David, thank you so much.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
And let's talk about customer journey, because listen to your customer is not only it's gonna be important of the early stage, but all over the life of your company. And I think that we have when some people discuss with me the growth strategy, I always see those projections, those plans, and it's all about how to find a new client. And let me find a new client. They don't worry about the new client. And I said, look, how about your existing client? Do you think that if you improve and nurture your existing client, you have a gold mine there, and it's even way cheaper because the client already had a relationship with you, and it can bring you referrals. But why everybody's always focused, David, in putting all the money, all the effort and everything, trying to bring more strangers to the business, more new people to the business. And the existing client, this gold mine, and I always call it, nobody cares about it. Nobody, they think that once the client goes, that's it. This is the journey stop there, without knowing that this client, number one, can repeat, and also can refer you people, but also they will be more likely to buy more products from you that can solve even more problems. So why this behavior?
It's less expensive to sell an additional product or service to an existing customer than it is to attract.
Absolutely.
In your sales strategy, I always advocate focusing on your existing customers first before you begin to expand and trying to attract new customers.
And listen, exactly, and listen to these customers. I think that I remember in the .com, one of the amazing things that Amazon did. I remember in the .com company when everybody was failing. Yeah, I think Amazon actually survived because of this, because they put everything they got into a customer experience. They figured out 100% that if they make sure that the client didn't like the product, whatever, that they can return it immediately. That all this resistance in the experience of the client, it had to be spotless. And probably you and I, we found about Amazon just because a friend told us, or if I'm looking for something, oh, go to this place, Amazon. It's amazing. You pay and they will get you straight away. And if you don't like it, you can return it, things like this. And now it's one of the biggest companies in the world. That's how important is focusing in the listen to the clients and focusing the client experience. Again, what you said is actually less expensive to nurture this relationship. But I still, David, we keep finding this behavior in entrepreneurs that they want to, again, it go to resources. If I give you $100, how much resources do you put out of the $100 in nurture and develop the relationship with existing clients, and how much you put out of this $100 in order to acquire new clients? Sequences are good because the entrepreneurs can have an idea how they can allocate the budget. Most of the time is done incorrectly.
I think about 60% towards existing customers, but you also, before you finalize that, you need to do a return on investment analysis. Figure out how much does it cost to sell more product to an existing customer versus how much does it cost to attract a new customer. And keep in mind that the customer journey is a 9-part process. And I've got an article on my website at spicecatalyst.com that describes the complex customer journey that a customer goes through. First, they have to hit a point of inflection where they realize that they have a problem. And then, but you can't sell anything to anybody new if they don't first agree that they have a problem. Once they have a problem, then they're going to, second step of the customer journey is they're going to identify the characteristics, the specifications of the solution they're looking for. Then they will shop around to find alternative solutions. Then they'll evaluate those solutions, and then they'll pick one of those solutions. And then whether they are an individual consumer or a major corporation, they have to justify the purchase of that solution along with an estimated return on investment. Once that's done, then they purchase it. Then it has to be deployed and used successfully. If the company fails on the deployment, then they won't give you recommendations for additional sales throughout the organization, and or they won't give you any recommendations for sales to others. So after your final deployment and successful deployment, then you can ask for references and referrals, and then you make your additional sales. So you can't, if you've got a happy customer, doing those additional sales is just getting the referral and then closing the deal. I did a few years ago a $15 million deal with Sears to put personalized recommendations on the Sears.com website. My company did that successfully. And I said, could you introduce me to Kmart.com? Which they did. They could introduce me to SearsParts.com, which, and Sears at that time owned nearly 100 different web commerce sites like Sears.com and Kmart.com. And I started spreading out, selling the same recommendation engine to those other 90-some Sears holdings. It would have been a lot more expensive to go out and find 90 brand new ones and go through that customer journey of those 9 steps before we started seeing some revenues and some profits.
Wow, that's fantastic, David. And what what do you think there in Silicon Valley that if tech companies, in your opinion, has higher valuation than traditional business?
They have what about business?
Higher valuation.
Well, I think some of it is the future hype as to what the expectations of that company might be out into the future. Like Apple has pretty good valuations, primarily because they
all tech companies, all of them, they're even making loss and still they have a high valuation. How you explain this?
Well, Apple has done it because they build good products that does what people want to do, what their customers want to do. Tesla does it based upon the hype of Elon Musk. There was a company back in the 80s called Commodore, which was also in the personal computer business, which I used to compete against when I was working for Apple. And they had a guy, Jack Tramiel, who is his equal huckster as Elon Musk is. And he got for a number of years. And finally, they got tired of him announcing things like the Tesla Roadster, the new one, which was announced, 4 to 6 years ago, was going to be shipped in a couple of years, and it still hasn't shipped. Then he came out with a garbage truck, claimed that the thing could float. And yet some guy in Southern California just the other day was launching his ski jet into the ocean, and his truck rolled backwards, his Cybertruck, and sank. So as people are beginning to learn that the hype does not match the reality, the valuations that we've seen in the case of Tesla, about half of was what it was 6 months ago. That's as a result of putting through the hype.
Yeah. Okay. And how do so tell us a little bit more about your company. What Why you helping?
Well, I teach product success, the areas of product management and product marketing. I've got a number of books on the market, building and sailing great products.
Tell us the title of the books.
Building and sailing great products is one. Another one is organizing and managing and sailing great products. And then a little 796-page pamphlet that Wiley has published as a textbook called Successful Product Design and Management Toolkit. And it's used at 2 MBA executive schools in India and has trained thousands. I also have online courses and teach in person because my number one client is Cisco, and I and my trainers have trained about half of the product managers at Cisco worldwide over the last 15 years. So you learn all about this with links to my books at spicecatalyst.com, or you go to Amazon in any country and just look up my name, David Fradin, as an author, and it will list all the books that I've written, in addition to a number of the workbooks that are used in my associated courses.
So, any last advice you have for entrepreneurs out there that wants to grow business and to find funding? I think within in the tech space mainly, the entrepreneurs they have those models of the Facebook founder, Google founder, and the Apple founder, and there is kind of a run assumption that if you're good as a coder or a good geek, that thing you can become a multi-millionaire, and it's a long way in order for that to happen. Saying that, 1 out of 5 multi-millionaires that we interview in this broadcast, they are tech entrepreneurs. So definitely it's a lot of money and a lot of to do that on the tech space. But what message that you have for the tech entrepreneurs or for the entrepreneurs out there in order to grow the business?
It goes back to understanding your customer, what it is they want to do, when, where, why, how satisfied are they with the current solution. If you nail that, that's the core of your value proposition, of your product positioning, of your understanding who your target markets are, understanding your value proposition. Then you innovate a product that solves a particular problem. Without that, you're doomed for failure.
What do you think about second-time founders and tenth-time founders? Do you think that they are a risk? Somebody, I was listening to one company the other day, one conference, yeah. The speaker was saying that it was one entrepreneur that already failed 5 times, yeah. And he went asking for funding, and they said, no, we cannot give you money because you have a very bad track record. And I kind of thinking, wow, this guy is trying 5 times and it hasn't worked. This guy, the only thing that we need is to put him in the right track. It's just this guy in the. I want him, nobody wants him. I want someone like that. So what do you think? Second, third time founders compared with the first time founders, what are the pros and cons? And which one do you prefer to work with? Why?
Well, if any of them go out first and understand what their customer wants to do, I would invest in them. But if they had 5 failures because they didn't figure out what it is the customer wants to do that, not them for their 6th failure. If one goes out there and realizes that they made a mistake and they learn from that mistake. For example, I was given credit back in 2003 that I shipped the first advertisement on a cell phone. And I went out, tries to raise money for it. And angel investors said, I don't want ads on my cell phone. Well, I didn't do the research of what it is that people wanted to do. If I had, I would have found that the market window, the 15 unmet needs, had not yet opened up in 2003. And the market didn't open up until iPhone was shipped in 2007. The last time I checked was a couple, 3 years ago. The advertising business on cell phones is over $15 billion a year.
Wow.
And was simply early and failed to recognize it because I had not done my market research.
Wow, David, thank you so much. And from all of you following this broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable. How a brave entrepreneur like David break that wall and achieve the first meeting. For now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.